And if you're lighting up my way, I'll be yours till break of day.
Good day, everyone. Today we are back with part 3 of our Q&As.
We are.
And
you missed the last one. You were sleeping. Sleeping on the job always.
I work an odd schedule.
That's not an excuse. Part 3 is our adoption Q&A, which a lot of you guys have been excited about, and we had a lot of questions regarding our adoption journey. If you don't hear your question in particular, it's probably because a lot of people ask the same question, and so we're just going to obviously answer it once. So first comes from James Elliott. They said, have you ever thought about fostering to adopt kids in the foster system that will soon be available to adopt? And actually that was from Sharon. Sorry, Sharon. We have definitely thought about fostering to adopt, and it's definitely something that we plan to look into once baby number one is here.
Yeah.
I was more trying to protect my heart, or our hearts, and saying that we wanted to have one child here before we went into the foster system.
Because, I mean, you get attached, and if they don't necessarily become available for adoption and they go back to their families, then you're leaving or losing your only child that you would have. So we are looking into it, but I don't think we'll probably do it until we have one of our own.
Right, yeah. There was a reason that we decided not to go that route to begin with. I just thought it would be really hard to go from a family of waiting so long to have a baby and then having a baby in the house and then them going back to their birth parents and not having any children. I thought that could be really, really traumatic and hard. Lisa Puckett said, usually waiting lists for newborns or small babies are so long. How are you able to get a baby so fast? Do you get to choose the sex of the baby? Are you guaranteed a baby? And definitely the price, which a lot of her questions, a lot of people had the same kind of questions. So the reason that we're able to get a baby so fast, you guys know that our wait time is 1 to 9 months. And I would say the number one reason for that is just how much we're willing to pay for one. I hate to say it that way, and I hate even bringing money into adoption talk, because I feel like, a lot of times that's all that people think about, and so they look at it more as you're buying a baby rather than the good things that come out of adoption or the reasons that adoption is even a thing. And so I would say, yeah, a lot of the agencies that we looked at that were cheaper had a lot longer wait times than the one that we have now, I guess.
Right. Well, you got to think the longer wait times are going to come from A, smaller agencies, or B, lower prices, because people are coming out of infertility treatments, and then there's more people in that agency. We're also pretty open with our preferences. We didn't specify a gender, we didn't specify a race. I mean, we're pretty much open to anything, even some, I mean, we went over that before, even some drug usage that most people wouldn't, because we did our research on it. So we're using American Adoptions. Their price scheduling fee, I think, is on their website somewhere with like a general information.
I mean, we don't know how much we're going to pay in particular, because it can change with each situation. But we are right in the like $28,000 all the way up to like $55,000 range.
And that's, I mean, that's just because of our preference availability, I guess, as well.
And that seems to be pretty typical. The agency that we were looking at before, that we've talked about a couple of times, that we decided not to go with, was a lot cheaper. They were more in like the 13 to 19,000, but the wait time was all the way up to 2 years.
Yeah, and some people have waited even longer than that. So their average was about 2 years. But yeah, that's
so that's how we're able to get a baby faster. Obviously, I mean, we don't know. Someone could not choose us for a year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever. It's just that based off of their experience and based off of what we have chosen, that is the average wait time. And then she asked, do we get to choose the sex of the baby? Yes, we could have, but we chose not to. The number one reason being is that it was so much more expensive.
Right, I think it was like $7,000 more to specify a gender, and we really don't care. So
I mean,
you would prefer a girl, but I mean,
but I'm fine with a boy too. Are you guaranteed a baby? So yes, I mean, we are adopting a newborn, and so at some point in time we will have a newborn. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the answer to that. And then we went over price. So Alice the Adder, hopefully I'm saying these names right, said, what are your preferred baby types, such as race, colors, or size? So
you kind of just touched on it as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are scared to ask that question because sometimes other people might be like, well, why do you care? Why do you care what the race is? Why do you care what the gender is? And I understand most people who ask that question are genuinely interested and come from a loving place. And so race, we're completely open to anything from African American, Caucasian, everything in between. We are so thrilled and we'll be so happy for.
I mean, we have no preference.
No preference at all. It does not make a bit of a difference to us what color our child's skin is. It's literally just a skin color. And so the fact that the thought of turning down our child because their skin is a certain color, it just seems a little bit crazy to us. Shanna Shelton asked, you want to read this one?
Yeah, I will. When adopting, can the birth parents change their mind after baby is born, or are you guaranteed your baby after the birth?
That's a good question.
So that is a fantastic question that I think everyone is scared of within the adoption realm. So the answer is it can vary. With different states, they have different revocation periods. Like in Georgia, they have 7 days from the time that the baby is born to say, you know what, never mind, I changed my mind. And the adoptive parents could actually have the baby the entire 7 days.
Right.
In the state of Florida, they have 48 hours from the point of birth or until they terminate their parental rights. Once they sign that paper, it's done. They can't revoke it. It varies between state to state. So if you're looking into adoption, kind of look into your agency, what states they work with, and you know.
Because it goes off of birth mom's state.
Right.
So
where the baby
even
is
though
actually
in
born.
Florida we have a great, well, for us, birth mom not so much, have, like he said, 48 hours. If we're matched in Georgia, then our 48 hours doesn't count. It goes off of what Georgia's laws are.
It is the birth state. So.
Right. So, yeah, great question. And it's definitely like the more nerve-wracking part of adoption is like dealing with that kind of stuff. I think when I start thinking about like revocation, whatever, however you say that word at times. Is that how you say it?
No.
It sounded weird. That's when my heart starts beating a little bit faster, and because I can't even imagine like Georgia states that have like 7 days.
Well,
and, like,
there's
having
even,
that baby for 7 days.
I remember reading, I forget what states there are, but there's 2 or 3 that have 14 days.
Yeah.
We told them we were not really particularly interested in those states because
we don't want
that would be a little bit scary.
Navy Wife Healthy for TTC said, how much is the cost of adoption, which we went over that. Do you have to pay it all up front, or when does the cost have to be paid?
That varies by agency.
Yeah. The first agency that we looked at, everything was due up front.
Right when you signed their agreement, I guess, the agency agreement. With the agency that we're working with now, it's kind of spread over.
Yeah, for sure.
You have the original application fee, you have your home study fee, and then you have your, what we're doing, video profile.
Yeah, I think there were other smaller fees also.
Kind of, they come up as they come up as you get to those stages. Yeah. Then you have an activation fee, which is a larger sum, and then once you are matched, your final
is when the largest
sum
is kind of due.
But it kind of comes out in stages with our adoption agency, but it does vary by agency. The previous agency wanted everything like upfront, so. Yeah,
that is, I have a whole nother video that I filmed on choosing an adoption agency. I just want to throw this in really quick though. That was one red flag for us, and some people are fine with doing that. I was just worried that once the agency had all of the money, that there wasn't any like push to try to try to find a family for us. So anyways, that's a whole different story. But Quinn Rebecca asked if we have baby names picked out.
We do, but you can't know them.
We do know the little girl name that we will use. We've known it for a long time. It's kind of related to family and that kind of stuff, family names. Boy name, we go back and forth between several different names. I feel like constantly I'm listening to names and hearing names and saying, oh my gosh, that would be fantastic, and Derek's shooting all of them down.
Sorry.
I have a little boy name and a little girl name that I love, but we'll just have to see. Derek's more like, I think people are different when they're naming their children. Derek is more like, well, let's see what they look like. And I'm like, no, they can just be whatever we decide they're gonna be.
I don't know. Like, we're set on the girl name.
Yeah,
hands
for sure.
down, because it's just very dear
really
to our
special to
family.
us. Yeah.
So, but as far as a boy, like, we have a few, but we don't know.
So leave your suggestions in the comments down below, because we are always looking for names. We're always looking for middle names, especially. I feel like that's when we really get hung up, is we're like, oh, I really love this first name, but what would we use as a middle name? So definitely leave your suggestions down below.
Next question. Candace B asked, are you going to be there during the birth of your baby, or do you receive your bundle of joy later on?
That kind of varies with each situation as well. Our caseworker kind of said that more birth mothers are asking for the adoptive parents to be in labor and delivery with her, which I can't even explain to you how exciting that would be and how much that would mean to us. But I have no plan on how, like, when we're going to get the call, what it's going to entail, where she's going to be, where in her labor she's going to be, or
because that's the thing, like, we could be matched and she'd be at 6 months, or we could be matched as they're going to the hospital. So if we get the call and it's one of the late matches and they're in California and they're already in labor, like, more than likely we're not going to get there. But if we are and they allow us, then that
would be so exciting. I would be so excited. But yeah, I don't have any thoughts or expectations on what that's going to be like, because then I feel like you get disappointed if I'm like, yeah, we're going to be in the birth, in the birthing suite with the birth mom and everything, and then it doesn't end up that way. Then
I mean, in general, we will be with them within hours after they're born,
more than likely, for sure. We have to travel within 24 hours of them letting us know that she is in labor. So I mean,
we're going to have a go bag packed, and we'll
I'm ready now. Not really. I wish. Renee Snook said, so considering the pre-adoption process is coming to an end, and you may get a baby rather quickly, do you have names picked out, or will it be baby no name? We kind of went over that. I feel like once we're actively waiting, which is coming very, very soon. Actually, by the time you watch this video, we may already be waiting. Then it's kind of more like go time of like, we really got to make sure that we at least have an idea of what we're going to be using. The Masterman said, how many children would you both like to have? Would you adopt more than one, or still try for another baby after adoption?
So I think we could take this one individually. I think she wants more. I don't know. You kind of you wanted 4, and then you wanted 2, and then sometimes you're back to 4. So I don't know. I've always wanted 2 to 4. It would depend on, I guess what the family dynamic was like with 2. Maybe we'll have 2 and then they'll grow older and then we'll have another one or something, As far as adopting multiples, obviously we kind of talked about that with the foster system. We're interested in the foster system, and
I think it's just like this journey has been so different than what we imagined to begin with, and so to even think at this point in time of like, how many children am I going to have? Am I going to get pregnant? Are we going to adopt more? It's like, I have no idea. I honestly don't know. I would love to have several children. I would love to experience pregnancy. If those things come, great. At this point, I'm so grateful to have 1. I think that's kind of maybe what has changed. I would love to have 4 still, but we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with that.
Next up, Paula 15 says, would we adopt twins?
Yes.
We would.
I'd be so excited
Multiples,
if we had twins.
Really, at all.
We're not really ready for twins. I mean, we need like another car seat and stuff like that. But
I mean, the things that you would actually need for the kids, but like clothes and stuff, that's fine. Abigail Cooper says, what kind of questions did she ask during the home study visit? Did you find any of them difficult to answer? Difficult to answer?
I feel like we could make an entire video on this.
Of the home study, so we may do that.
Let's do that. We'll do that.
Yeah. We'll use that for a different video.
Yeah.
The prospective
How would
parents
you say that name, though?
have to work in order to adopt. That is from Jacob Rosal.
Hopefully we didn't just butcher your name.
If we did, I'm sorry. Do both prospective parents have to work in order to adopt? No.
No.
You just have to be able to pass the home study requirements in your state to be able to feasibly afford your living.
Yeah.
Basically.
I don't know what the requirements are. I know that we were above and beyond and we don't make a ton of money. So no, I would say both parents do not. They don't have to work.
And I mean, as far as agency fees go, I think they consider, like, if you're coming to them, you can pay them anyway, so.
Yeah. Brooklyn Cave said, my question is one that I've always had about adoption. When adopting a newborn, do you get to give a name to your child, or does the child already have a name? And if you get to name your baby, do you have one picked out? So, yes, we get to name our baby. I'm sure there are probably situations where birth mom or birth parents could say, we want to name them this. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on how all of that goes. I just know that in a normal adoption, you're able to give your baby a name.
Yeah.
I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I believe that birth mom will actually get to fill out her own birth certificate, and then we will get our own birth certificate.
They amend the birth certificate. Yeah.
So I would say she could probably put whatever she wanted to on it.
Right. Like if she wants to name the child.
If you guys know, leave that in the comments down below.
Yeah, I mean, this is what. Yeah, this is what we understand. She kind of gets to come up with the name, and then we get to amend the birth certificate because it's.
Yeah, maybe that's what. it is.
I don't. Some procedure like that, but yes, we get to name the child.
Morgan Sealock said, are you willing to share the name of the agency, and is it a local agency? We're using American Adoptions. It's a national agency.
And it's based out of Kansas, so.
Yeah. Kelly Edis.
Sounds good to me.
Do you think you will adopt a second time? Also, will you be staying in Florida for a while longer, or will you be moving to Georgia? So, yes, we would adopt a second, third, fourth time. And I don't know. Stay tuned on our living situation. We are kind of right in the middle of, we don't really know what we want to do.
Right, like we love Florida, but we like to be with our family, so who knows?
Yeah.
Lorraine Sanchez, man, this is a long one. Lorraine Sanchez says, How did you finance your adoption? What was said, if anything, about your dogs from the agency? I'm happy that they are okay with renting because, like I said before, we are very close to going with the exact same agency. We rent a house currently. Does a nursery have to be set up for the home study? Also, do you have to make a video for the agency? I'm so camera shy that I will dread that. So let's pick this one apart question by question.
Okay.
How did we finance our adoption? We have stocks and savings and kind of everything that we've been built up. And
sorry, there's a person walking around outside. I was like...
And we have some help from our family as well.
Yeah, we had a lot of help from family, and thankfully we have a family that is able to help us in that way. Otherwise, we would be in a lot worse of a situation.
What was said, if anything, about your dogs from the agency? She pretty much just made sure they were nice. I mean, obviously,
Tiny and Marie curled up at her feet the whole time we were doing our questionnaire stuff.
I mean, I'm sure if you have like a more aggressive dog, they would probably, ask further or research that. I don't know. Next question. Does the nursery have to be set up in your home study? No.
She didn't even look in this room. This is our nursery room, and she didn't even come in. Now, we, in this closet back here, have a ton of stuff ready, and we had like the car seat and the stroller. Yeah, we were like, you can come in and look, and she's like, no, it's okay. And I was like, no, really, we worked really hard on it.
Right. Yeah.
So no, you don't have to have a nursery ready. And yes, they're fine with you renting. I mean, honestly, they didn't have any. The only thing was, if we move before we adopt,
we have to update our home study.
But
yeah. And do you have to make a video for this agency? Yes.
Yeah,
for our agency, the American Adoptions, they make you do a video profile and you have a print profile.
Yeah.
So they kind of give you a walkthrough of how it goes, and you guys have probably already seen our bloopers. If you haven't
watched our video of trying to make it, I will link that in the description below because it is hilarious. I crack up every time I watch it. It was so painfully hilarious.
But it's a little bit stressful. I'm not gonna lie, because stressful. You're practically telling someone who may be adopting or choosing you to adopt their child why you would be good. So, but yes, our agency does ask that you complete a video.
I mean, now that we've done it, I mean, I would never ask to do it again.
Right, no,
but now that it's over, it doesn't seem so bad.
The most stressful thing in my life.
Oh my gosh, it was bad. It was really, terrible. Really bad. And you guys saw, like, not the worst parts of it. So we're just glad to still be alive after that because we almost wring each other's necks.
Yeah.
But that... Jeez. That was the last question. Be sure to leave us any additional questions you guys have about our adoption down in the comments below. You can go check out parts 1 and 2. I'll put those in the description as well. Part 1 was more about like just our relationship together if you want to learn more about us, and then part 2 was about our infertility stuff. So if you want to check those out, be sure to go and look at those. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this adoption Q&A. We had a lot of fun. We love answering you guys' questions, and some of them make us think and be like, wait a minute, we didn't think about that.
Right, yeah. So anyways, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to us where you can get our next videos, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, we need to do like a thumbnail or something. Dad, smile. Smile real.
I'm smiling real.
No, you're not. Smile real. No, smile real. Derek, you better have a freaking real smile.
I am smiling. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, do that. No, come here. No teeth. Come here, come here. You're leaning too far. Smile.
I can't do a no teeth smile.
Smile. I didn't say no teeth that time.
Yeah, you did. You were like,
that
no
was
teeth.
for earlier. Open your eyes more. Derek, here. No. My mouth hurts. Okay, I can't do it anymore.